Imagine you've just walked into a kitchen that feels more like a restaurant than a home, and you're staring at a massive 48-inch range that promises the same heat power chefs use on set. You're wondering whether splurging on a professional-grade propane unit is worth the space it will take, the learning curve of the touch panel, and the extra fuel cost. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through why that hesitation can be a smart pause or a missed opportunity, depending on what you actually cook and how you use your stove. First off, this isn't a typical home range upgrade. It's a collaboration between Gordon Ramsay and THOR Kitchen, so the branding alone hints at a level of performance you don't see on most apartment countertops. The unit packs a dual oven layout, an integrated griddle, high-performance burners, a dedicated bake burner, and a commercial convection fan, all driven by liquid propane. That combination means you can sear a steak on one side while the other oven is roasting a turkey, and the griddle can handle pancakes or a stir-fry without moving pots around. If you've ever tried to juggle multiple dishes on a single burner and ended up with a kitchen traffic jam, this design literally separates the lanes. Who should seriously consider this range? If you're an avid home chef who loves to entertain, especially with multi-course meals, the extra oven capacity and the ability to run a high-heat burner and a convection oven at the same time is a genuine time-saver. Think of a Sunday dinner where you start a brisket on the bake burner, finish the sides in the lower oven, and have a dessert baking in the upper oven, all without flipping switches or waiting for a burner to cool down. The commercial-grade convection fan also means you can get that crisp, even browning you usually only see in a restaurant's deck oven. For people who run a small catering side hustle from their home kitchen, the extra horsepower translates directly into more orders per weekend. On the other side of the coin, if your cooking style is mostly microwave meals, occasional pasta, or you only need a single burner for basic sorting, this range is overkill. The 48-inch footprint demands a dedicated wall space, and the need for a liquid propane hookup means you can't just plug it into a standard gas line without a professional conversion. That extra installation cost can easily add a few $100s to the price tag, which is a hidden trade-off many first-time buyers overlook. If you're renting or live in a condo where modifications to the gas system are prohibited, you'll have to skip this one entirely. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that become evident once you actually fire it up. The high-performance burners deliver a quick, roaring flame that brings a pan to a sizzling sear in under a minute. I tried a classic beef Wellington on the bake burner, and the bottom crust turned out perfectly golden while the middle stayed tender, something that's hard to achieve on a standard home burner that often heats unevenly. The integrated griddle is a game-changer for breakfast lovers. You can spread out a full family's worth of pancakes, bacon, and eggs without crowding the stovetop, and the heat stays consistent across the entire surface. The dual oven layout also removes the one oven at a time limitation that most households face. In a test run, I baked a batch of artisan loaves in the lower oven while the upper oven was set to a low heat proofing mode for a sourdough starter. The separate temperature controls meant the loaves didn't interfere with the delicate rise of the starter, something that would have been a juggling act on a single oven unit. The convection fan, while quiet, circulates hot air efficiently, cutting baking times by roughly 15% for casseroles and roasted vegetables. That reduction translates into lower propane consumption, which offsets a bit of the fuel cost concern. However, the strengths come with some practical weaknesses that you'll notice during daily use. The tilt panel touch control looks sleek, but it can be finicky when your hands are greasy from handling a steak. The capacitive surface sometimes registers a stray touch, causing the flame to dip a fraction before snapping back. It's not a deal breaker, but it does require a quick mental reset after you finish a high-heat sear. The range also runs hot to the touch, especially around the burners, so you need to be mindful of where you place utensils or a child's hand. The stainless steel bronze finish is striking, yet it shows fingerprints and smudges more readily than a matte black or brushed steel, so a quick wipe after cooking is necessary to keep it looking showroom ready. Another hidden trade-off is the noise level of the convection fan. In a quiet kitchen, you'll hear a steady hum that some people find comforting, like a sous vide machine, but for those who prefer a silent cooking environment, it can feel a bit intrusive. The fan's speed is fixed, so you can't dial it down if you're just keeping a dish warm.